What if uncertainty wasn't something to fear, but it was an invitation for you to consider different perspectives, to explore new paths that perhaps you never even knew were possible? Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Power in the Pause podcast. How are you guys doing today? It is Wendy Page Sterling, your host, and I'm so excited to be here with you today because today's episode was inspired by a lot of the chatter that has been happening with my clients and in my groups. And it has to do with where it is that I believe we all are in this moment and what it is that we are navigating. And I do believe that it is also something that we face multiple times and multiple points in our life. And that has to do with facing uncertainty. Whether it's a shift in your business, in your career, a major life decision, unexpected events, transitions, uncertainty can definitely leave each and every one of us feeling doubt, fear, overwhelm, disorientation, and anxiety. And so in today's episode, we're going to dive into this particular topic because at the end of the day, uncertainty doesn't have to be your enemy. It actually can be your greatest adversary. It can actually become a space where your greatest evolution gets to take place. And so today, I want to spend our time together supporting you in and through the process of navigating uncertainty. How it is that I teach my clients to find clarity, how it is that they can trust themselves, how it is that you get to start embracing the unknown and see it as an opportunity for growth. So let's dive in, shall we? First and foremost, we all get to name the elephant in the room. And that elephant happens to be that uncertainty sucks. It is super freaking uncomfortable. The unknown triggers fear and doubt, and sometimes even paralysis. How many of you guys can relate to that? Lord knows that when I discovered that my now ex-husband was having an affair, I had no idea what I was doing, how this was going to impact my children. And it literally left me to the point of just not knowing what the hell to do. I was completely paralyzed. My mind was racing 1,000 miles a minute. And of course, it's racing because what it really wants is to know exactly what is going to happen. What does this mean? What is on the other side? What is the decision? It wants safety and security because, let's be honest, it's a survival instinct. But what if instead of resisting the unknown, we leaned into it? So, number one is that there is actually a gift buried in uncertainty. So again, I know that uncertainty can be really scary, but it's also a very fertile soil for new possibility. You see, when nothing is set in stone, everything becomes possible. And it's in these moments where we actually have a chance to redefine who it is that we are and what it is that we want. I mean, how many times in our life do we get to actually rewrite our story, right? So in that moment where I didn't know what was happening, my mind automatically went down the road of divorce. I mean, one minute it was divorce, the next minute it was I'm fighting for my marriage. But let me ask you a question that I asked myself and that I ask my clients repeatedly. What if uncertainty wasn't something to fear, but it was an invitation for you to consider different perspectives, to explore new paths that perhaps you never even knew were possible, right? And what I have experienced and what I think helps ease your anxiety around the unknown is just considering, exploring these new paths. Now, I have a practice that I take my clients through where we actually will role play in these moments different perspectives and what is possible in those perspectives. So we lean into the anxiety, we lean into the unknown and discover, well, is it really that bad? Or is it really that amazing? So that is going to take all of us, okay, navigating something that is hard for many of us, and that is trusting ourselves, especially in those times of doubt. Because what is it that we all naturally do? Well, we seek external validation, right? Who are my fellow people pleasers out there? Whether that's asking people's advice, opinions, or what we think society expects of us, right? I can't tell you how many times it took me 2 weeks to tell my family what was going on in my marriage. It took me a week to tell my friends. It took me so much time because I was so afraid of what people were going to say. And when I was navigating my decision process, people kept giving me their opinions. And anytime I would say something, perhaps exploring something different, I would get these looks from them of either like, are you crazy? Or why would you consider that? Right? But at the end of the day, your body, the sensations in your body are what tells you what is best for you. So your clarity actually comes from within. So it's important that we cultivate this inner trust, because building that, I hate to break it to you, it's not going to happen overnight, but it starts by tuning in to your intuition. I had a session with a client yesterday where I was supporting her in doing that. And we were doing this really basic, exercise together. And she started to understand when she knew and trusted herself in an answer versus when she was wavering in her answer. And what she and I discovered is that she wasn't giving herself the opportunities to step away from the noise. Sometimes that's even our own egos, to hear that quiet, intuitive voice that actually is your inner wisdom. It is that confident, calm, peaceful truth. And that voice often is the one that is going to point you on the quote unquote right path, even when the path feels really unclear. So in these moments of uncertainty, I invite you to just embrace practicing pausing, being still, feeling in your body. Is it overwhelm? Is it confidence? Is it a calm knowing, right? Take a step back, sit in it, listen for that quiet voice. It's there, but it's going to require each and every one of us to slow down. Our instinct is to speed up. So this is going to take some practice. So here's the beautiful paradox, okay? What I talked about before, right? Embracing certainty as an actual opportunity. Now, who are my fellow control freaks out there, right? Raise your hand. Hi, me too. So the more that we actually try to control everything, the more that we feel out of control, right? Who can relate to that? The more we resist the uncertainty, the more it is going to consume you. So when we release the need to have control, to know the answers, we're actually allowing ourselves and the universe to make space for the magic that gets to happen. So letting go, releasing the need to know how everything will unfold is a crucial step in this process. And instead of focusing on everything outside of your control, focus on what it is that you can control. Okay, so what are those things? Well, you can control your mindset, your thoughts. You can control where it is that you are giving energy. You can also control the actions that you're choosing to take in this moment. So it's really important that you not cling to a specific outcome and instead stay open to what is unfolding, to stay open to the possibility that things could turn out way better than you could have ever imagined, right? In that moment that I was deciding if I wanted to stay in my marriage, all I thought was negativity, and I've got to keep my family together. And oh my God, my kids can't grow up in a broken home. But when I stayed open to the possibility of, but wait a second, I lost myself in my marriage. Wait a second, I've actually been really unhappy. Wait a second, my kids hear us fight all the time. And I stepped into possibility of, well, I'd rather my kids be in a happy home. I would rather show up excited to see my kids when I walk in the door. I would rather know who I am and to start creating a life for myself instead of what everyone else expected of me, right? So what is possible for you? What is on the other side, right? So let's just get practical for 1 second. Right now, in this moment, how do you navigate uncertainty? What happens? Do you spiral? Do you go into fear? Do you go into doubt? Be honest with yourself. And if you're somebody who does spiral, like I do, like all of my clients do, right? It's really important that you create some practices for yourself that ground you, that let you get out of the spiral. How is it that you can stop your mind from spinning to end the anxiety, right? Sometimes it takes a walk. Sometimes it's journaling. Sometimes it's meditating. Sometimes it's listening to music. Maybe it's dancing it out, running on the treadmill. But these moments of stillness still have energy and momentum in them because they're supporting you in actually recalibrating your nervous system so that you stop reacting and you instead come from a place of responding and responding with intention. Another powerful way that I ground my clients and I teach them is how to reframe your narrative. So instead of saying, I don't know what's going to happen and that freaks me the fuck out, why don't you try saying, I don't know what's on the other side of this. And that is exciting to me. I get to co-create what's on the other side of this, right? And even just that simple shift in language changes everything. So I hope that this episode got you thinking how it is that you are currently choosing to navigate moments of uncertainty. And I invite you to embrace these moments instead as possibility. Know that you can trust yourself to handle whatever it is that comes your way, even if the road ahead isn't fully clear. Okay, it wasn't just in my divorce that I was navigating this. It was when my mom got diagnosed with ovarian cancer. I didn't know how long she had. I was mad and I was angry and I was sad. And while I didn't know how long she had, I could have chosen to stay in anger. I could have chosen to be in fear the whole time. Or what I chose instead was to live every day with her as though it was the last. And I don't say that to be morbid. I mean that life is now. Ground yourself in the now, in the present moment. Let go of your need to control everything. I know it's hard. I've been there. Okay, I would have done anything to get rid of my mother's cancer. I would have done anything to know what was going to happen to my marriage. But what I can tell you is that it was in those moments of stillness, of pause, that I got the answers I needed. That is where my truth lay. Remember, okay, pausing doesn't mean you're stopping. It means that you are gifting yourself with a moment for clarity and actual creation. So I want to thank you for joining me in today's episode. And if this resonated with you, do me a favor, leave me a 5-star rating so that more people can find it. And do me another favor, share it with somebody who you might know is navigating their own season of uncertainty. And if you haven't hit subscribe yet, let's stay connected. Hit that button right now and keep tuning in for more conversations on the power of the intentional pause that you get to start creating in your life. So until next time, embrace the unknown, keep trusting the process, sending you so much love and light always. Mwah. Bye, everybody.